Oh, there's Netstalker saying HC end boss kills 10 days after release, both before Christmas, 550 versus 230. As a singular point of data, that is interesting. Hang on. World of Warcraft player count down 55%.
Done.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty worrying.
Maybe there's a difficulty difference that's notable. This is way easier. Actually, is this easier than
easier.
Is this easier than Nathria?
Normal's easier.
Because
Normal's easier.
sorry, heroic. Yeah, so it's heroic Nathria easier than heroic. Well, I guess I don't know.
We remember doing her. I mean, I remember
heroic
Nathria.
Heroic Danny wasn't very easy, like. Or was he? I don't know. Were we bad? It's hard to
Nathria felt more hyped than some cave raid. Yeah, I can see that.
Nathria's cool. They definitely did a lot of this is all big in a big rock, which looks very good, but maybe hope 10.1's raid isn't in a rock as well.
Oh man, Night Stalker, those are some numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that is similar to the mythic drop that we just talked about.
It's actually worse.
Oh, I mean, as we said, if there is a drop in mythic, it will be larger in other difficulty modes because mythic players tend to be the most sticky.
Yeah.
I mean, they kept on playing mythic through Shadowlands and BFA.
Yeah, there is the possibility that less people are raiding because they're doing other things instead.
That is also
because there's more things to actually do in the world. There's actually a long tail.
Here's another thing. Dried RM. Dried? Yeah, Dried. Could show many guilds fell apart and people don't have guilds to play with yet.
Yeah, that's almost certainly true.
There is the great fucking shattering and then people come back but they're not organized.
Yeah.
And it'll take time for all of that to reform.
Yeah, John, it's the same period of time. So Christmas is actually, luckily enough, we don't have Christmas as a variable. It's the same. Christmas was a control factor. Wonderful.
Wow.
That doesn't happen often. Yeah. That's certainly interesting.
You look at some of the views in some of our videos, and you told me your audience is decreased by 40%. I would say, actually, I'm going to dive into analytics, so take my
right, so absolutely through your screen up. Yep.
Take my screen privileges away and
hello, does everyone want to know?
I will look at unique viewers on what would be best to do. See, the problem is a lot of this will depend on like us actually doing content, but at least if I can filter it to be a decent let's just do December. Right, so not launch period, but the people who have stuck around just after launch. And if I do unique, if I do unique, then that should help us out quite significantly. So if I go to November 25th to December 22nd, we'll just do that both times. I know it's not perfect. Go to audience and we go to unique viewers. Okay, so we have had 861.1 thousand unique viewers. Let me just put this in our Notion doc. All right, so UVs.
Whenever you think about how many people 861,000 unique people are, it really does give you quite the interesting perspective on how many people play World of Warcraft and exist and look at the content online. That's a lot of numbers. It's a lot of people.
Turn these 2022s.
That's enough people to. I can't think of anything funny. My wit has been destroyed by doing Christmas shopping today. Actually, you know what? I got a little sidebar while Michael does some research. Do you want to understand just how busted your brain can be at Christmas when you're also working and sleeping with a very strange circadian rhythm? I was in Poundland earlier, and I saw a box of cereal, and I had to buy this box of cereal, literally because I was thinking about stream, I was thinking about Dragonflight and the Drac Theory, and etc., etc., etc. And I just saw, I shit you not, this box, I have it here as a prop. I have this box of cereal. Can you see? Can you see? This is Zimmy's Choco Dragon Flakes. And I just... Oh, sorry. Choco Dragon Shells. I just bought this. I bought this because I went, haha, dragon. That's... Welcome to the 23rd of December. And yes, I did have to check the date, even though I should know it. Yeah. Just bought cereal because haha, dragon. Okay. That's marketing for you. This should be a Dragonflight product. Imagine... Name a drac there. I forget all their names. Emberthal, Saza, the bronze time stuff with that one. Yeah, put one of them in this, and this is free. So this is free. Also, yeah, this is just mushroom. Yeah,
right.
Sidebar over it.
Now, these are not really great numbers. This is not perfect because actually this is a bias towards Dragonflight because this includes Dragonflight launch. And it just does miss out on some of the launch of Shadowlands. Because our legendary guide is the most recent, or the oldest video in the Shadowlands dataset. Yeah. Shadowlands was 1...
2, 3, 4.
Yeah. Yes. What? Hang on.
Can you see?
Now they're right. Now they're right.
The cogs.
Now they're right. So, with Shadowlands, we had 1 million unique viewers.
Do you have 12 videos. I can show or no?
Huh?
Do you have that I can show or no?
We had 1 million unique viewers and 12 videos in the period. Now, in the same period this year, 861,000 viewers, unique viewers, but 18 videos. So we released significantly more content.
Almost as if Shadowlands did lasting damage to the brand of World of Warcraft.
Don't switch back to me yet.
Who would have thought? Who would have expected that? No one? Just me? I thought so. Yeah, that's... I'm sure Blizzard looking at it internally and going, what could we really have expected? Could we have expected? Should we have done with it? It's very... It's really hard to take Michael seriously with his inverse falafel hairband.
Definitely.
See, that's... I feel like that's been to our benefit because this has been a pretty heavy...
More views in Shadowlands as well. That same period had about 200,000 more views than this period in this expansion has, even though we released 18 videos instead of 12.
Yeah.
And our bias, our dataset would have a natural bias towards Dragonflight because, like, this isn't days post-launch, because more of the popping Dragonflight launch content is included here, whereas it's not included in Shadowlands. So overall, at least by that, it's not particularly a strong looking thing. And then of course we have all this raid data that looks interesting.
Yeah, Shadowlands will be a great case study of how not to drive your IP into the ground. It unfortunately could be. Hopefully there's an upswing that continues. World of Warcraft's been in a bad place before, but not quite as existential. But it's like the existential dread is over. It's just about how do they recover now.
Yeah, that's it. I think big thing. Blizzard, you have to break your kayfabe. You can't wheel Steve out and tell him that it's time to close the first book of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Because that's him saying, yes, hello, I've completed the murder of the thing you loved. Right, you can't just be like, well, no, the jailer is cool in our lore, and we don't care that none of you like him. Because what you do is just alienate all your fucking players. When stuff goes up shit creek, you have got to acknowledge to your players that it went up shit creek. It's that simple. At the end of the day, what matters is, does the thing land? And it didn't land, so you have to be humble, and the part of being humble is outwardly admitting it was shit.
Yeah,
and you have to do that, or else people will feel like you're fucking gaslighting them, and when they feel gaslit, they're not going to be willing to come back. I would love to see what Blizzard's data is, but certainly raid engagement seems kind of down. Social media feels kind of down. I mean, the idea that half the number of Twitch channels was streaming. Sure, it was comparable, but Dragonflight did have lower overall viewers, even though it had Twitch drops being enabled. So that shows that Dragonflight inorganically had massive viewership from half the channels, whereas Shadowlands organically had more viewership from double the channels.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. That'd be a good question. Do you see more engagement after Asmongold watches a video? No, not at all.
No. Let's not talk about... it's not long, I forget what they're called.
The React meta.
React meta, yes. Yeah. I'm very tired.
Yeah, no, like if you have a tiny channel, sure.
Yeah.
But no.
Yep.
Not really.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Also, yeah, some factors like COVID and all that will apply as well.
There's a little bit of that where you could even argue that downturn could be connected to COVID, and people are like, I'll touch grass instead of World of Warcraft. And you're like, fair. Though you would argue that you would have to see, has the industry at large felt sim? And I know there is some contraction, but then you could also bring in economic affairs into that, because going by sales and assuming that's interesting. Not really likely. Data hard. Data analysis pretty hard. Unless you want to be a sort of analyst who just sort of throws in his opinion, then that's easy.
Oh, very easy.
That's easy. I'd love... Oh, man. When are we starting a think tank? Think tank? When are we starting a think tank, please?
Yeah, so I guess make of that what you will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I will say for my part, if I watch React video, I go to the original and like it. In that case, you're actually damaging the video.
Yeah, if you go to it and like it without giving it the watch time, then you're sending YouTube a signal it's good but not interesting.
Yeah. So that actually will actively hurt the video. So you know when a streamer says go like the original video, that streamer is actually hurting that video's algorithmic performance and increasing the performance of their own video, because their own video has got the watch time, and then the low watch time in the original source will de-incentivize that, meaning that the only version of that content is the one that gets the lazy reaction on top of it.
Yeah, because YouTube didn't bother to tell anyone that likes aren't actually
okay. Like if you watch the whole thing too, then fair, but like no one really does that. Like
you're definitely an outlier there, which is
good.
Hell yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, hell yeah, that is good. But I mean, yeah, no one does that to the degree where it has an algorithmic impact.
Indeed.
And this is why React content appears at the top of original videos. Yep, it is.
Very interesting. Do enjoy.
Very interesting.
Do enjoy it.
Yeah,
Do
man.
enjoy thinking about it.
I think the point here just is WoW has got a long climb.
Indeed.
Long climb. I think it could make the climb because this content's really good now.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like, that's the good shit.
It's the frustrating part is like World of Warcraft, a pretty good game now. Oh, and it's still so much, but like it's substantially a better game. And it's just like, tough luck.
That's tough. Asmund should let his audience know how to give you guys credit. The only way would be to either watch the whole video, support an advertiser, or donate in Patreon or something. And I'm not saying that for us. I'm saying that for any React content generically.
Yeah.
That's the only way that you'll... basically, the only person... You're almost completely uncompensated. And to say paid with exposure, like... Come on, people roll their eyes at, you're paid with exposure for a reason.
That's basically cope with survivorship bias.
Yeah, that's humongous scope. Yeah. No, the only thing that matters is the watch time, and if you take the watch time, then you've taken it. Yep. And you have to know that's what you're doing, and not delude yourself that you're doing anything but that. And that's how React content works.
Yep, that's why it's.
There's times where reacting to something can make sense. And it can be done in a limited, specific, reasonable fashion. But the problem then becomes whenever React content just becomes one's bread and butter to the point where, you're not really producing much value or, anything like that.
I think that's
people have talked about that plenty of times.
Yeah, fundamentally, it's like, are you adding value in like a big way? Are you adding a little bit of value? Are you replacing the original source is the best way to watch this because you're letting it run entirely? Or are you are you making it, because it's like, what's the difference between a react that has the video playing along, or what's the difference between that and a response that is like, hey, go watch the video, this is my response to it. and then calling out specific highlights. Even then, like if you edit in those specific highlights, then that's probably going to take the replacement, because you're just getting, why would I go to the source when I can go to the source plus the analysis?
And of course, Dark Viper was right.
Yeah.
There's no streamer that there's probably no streamer that's not like completely deluded that would say Dark Viper's wrong. Obviously, you can't admit that.
Yeah, it's the kayfabe of like, well, I mean, you're incentivized to say Dark Viper's wrong, because if you say he's right, then you're a massive hypocrite suddenly.
Yeah,
like,
of course he's right.
Yeah,
like his argument is completely watertight and makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's well researched, it's well put together. It's obviously comes from a pretty aggressive standpoint because he feels strongly about it. But
yeah,
so.
No, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's So interesting.
Indeed.